Hi, I'm Richie Castellano. Welcome to my studio. Today we're going to use the Line 6 Dream Rig, which is the JTV Variax guitar, the Pod HD500X, and the L2 StageSource speaker to create a Brian May inspired sound. Today I'm actually using the sound from the L2. A lot of people on the video comments told me they wanted to hear the way the speaker sounded, so I'm miking that up. So the sound you're hearing is coming from the StageSource speaker. So let's get started. Right now we're looking at the Line 6 Workbench HD software. This is really cool because you can use this to change everything about the way this guitar behaves. You can change the pickup configuration, you can change the type of body, you can change everything. So we're going to use this to try to approximate a Brian May style guitar. I'm starting with a Strat preset here. And I know that for Brian May's main rhythm guitar sound, he uses 2 single coil pickups together in series. Now, right now we have a Strat pickup which is angled. I want to get rid of that angle. Now you can do it here by rotating it, or I'm going to enter it over here just by hitting 0. I don't want an angle. Okay, I also am going to turn on this middle pickup. So now, oh whoops, here we go. There it is. So now I have the middle and the bridge together. Alright, that sounds a little too stratty. So I'm going to go to a neutral body style. So if I double click there, it loads. So I got away that kind of Strat kind of quack. I don't want too much of that. Okay, now I know that the wiring on Brian May's guitar is in series, so I can actually change that. And you see it changes the sound. Okay, I'm going to change where they are, which is really cool that you can do this in this program. Alright, for the, I took some notes because I did this before, I messed around. Alright, so position of the bridge I want in 0.9. And the neck I want is a 3.4. Okay. Alright, so let's stick with that as the main sound. And now, once I'm happy with that, I can go over to here, upload to Variax. So now it's sending that sound to that position on my guitar. Okay, now I'm going to copy that preset. And I'm going to paste it over here. Now I want to work on one of his second sounds that he uses a lot, which is the neck position and the bridge position in reverse phase, which is pretty cool. And you can do that with this. So I'm going to turn off the middle. I'm going to turn on the neck. And I'm also going to mess with the levels again, with the positions of where they are. So I'm going to put the neck to 5.8. And I'm going to put, I can mess with the bridge here too, it doesn't have to stay in that one spot. Okay. That sounds okay, but it's not there yet because I have to reverse the polarity. So now the reverse, it kind of sounds funny, but once we get it through the distortion and everything, it'll sound different. Alright, let's stick with that. Okay, now the third position I want to get, that's going to be the neck and the middle together out of phase. Now don't worry about overriding the originals. You can always reset the memory on this thing and go back to factory settings. So let's load this up. Now I'm going to turn off the bridge and turn on the middle pickup. And the position here that I found worked the best was 6.3 and 3.8. So let's see what that sounds like. Now, I'm not doing pinch harmonics or anything. That's what it sounds like. When the pickups are out of phase, you get all this extra harmonic content, which is really cool. Okay, so now I have on my custom bank here, these first 3 switches. I can go back and forth between my 3 Brian May sounds. Now we're looking at the Pod HD500X editing software. We're going to use this to make the rig. A couple things to keep in mind though. We don't have things like modded AC30s or treble boosters, so we're going to use the tools that we do have. And I want you to try to use your ears when you do this instead of your eyes, because even if it looks right, it might not necessarily sound right. So let's get started. First thing we want to do is go to the amp model, and we're going to go to an A15. Now you might be thinking, why not use an A30? That is the right amp, but I found when I was messing around with this before that the A15 gave me more of the sound I was looking for. So that's not a bad starting place. Let's add some more drive. There we go. It's a little muddy, so I'm going to bring the bass down. All right, let's leave the cut where it is. Treble, let's give it a little more treble. Good, and I want a lot more presence. And early reflections, I'd like that because that simulates a room. And I'm going to change the microphone type to an 87. That gives it sort of that creamy kind of sound. It's pretty good, but it's really not enough gain. So instead of using like an EQ as a treble booster, I'm going to use the traditional distortion. Like I said before, I just found that this works a little better. So let's go to distortions. And the one that I liked was the line 6 distortion. But right off the bat, you hear that it adds noise. So before then, I'm going to put a noise gate. So I'm going to go to dynamics, noise gate, and there you go, killed it. Pretty good. All right, back to the distortion. Way too bassy. So let's bring that down. Getting there. All right, I want a little more mid-range maybe. All right, pretty good. The treble, let's bring down. And you can hear it's already starting to do it, but I think it's way too much drive. So let's bring that way down. And to hit the amp a little harder, let's bring the output up a bit. So now we're starting to get in the ballpark. All right. The next thing I like to do is add to the amp. We can EQ it to really fine-tune the sound a bit. So I'm going to open up my favorite EQ in the pod, which is the parametric EQ. The low and high knobs here are very sensitive, so you don't have to do much to really change the sound. I really think it's kind of still too muddy sounding, a little too bassy, so I'm going to bring that down a little bit. You don't have to do much. All right, that cleans it up a bit. Let's goose the high up just a tad. All right. And now, if you don't know how a parametric EQ works, here's a crash course. This sweeps through a bunch of frequencies, and this one raises or lowers the gain. The Q is how wide it's doing it. Now, the fastest way to use this actually is you're going to boost the gain first. And now you're hearing what frequency is selected. So we could cycle through all the frequencies to find the one we want. That one's not it. Here we go. See how muddy that got? Now I can take some of that away. That's pretty good. We're getting close. Now let's do a few modulation effects. And barber pole phaser, that's the one. All right, tempo sync off. We don't need to do that. Mode up, speed all the way down. We don't want this to be like a sort of sound. We want it to be something like a color, like a little textural sort of thing. So feedback, let's keep sort of where it is, I guess. Yeah. All right, and mix. We want to bring mix way down because we don't want this to be so dramatic. We want it to be kind of subtle. Maybe bring the mix down a little more. Not bad. I'm going to turn that off for now. Now I want like an overall chorus to keep on. So we'll go back to mod. We'll go to analog chorus. Keep everything kind of where it is. I'm going to bring the mix down because we want it to be kind of subtle, like I said before. All right, that's pretty good. Now, the final thing I'm going to do to this, and probably the most fun thing, is I want to have a harmonizer, okay? So, one thing I want to say is save often, no matter what you're working on. So, we're going to name this Brian Maybe. There we go. Now, we're going to do the harmonizer bit, which is the fun part. I'm going to drag this block over here and this block over here. The reason I'm doing this is that the harmonizer can do one harmony at a time. So if we want a 3-part harmony like you hear in a lot of Queen songs, we're going to need to do 2 of them. And we don't want them to be fed into each other because then it's going to harmonize the harmonized sound. It's going to get really messy sounding. So this way we have 2 separate signal paths coming out of the amp that are both going to be harmonized. Okay, so this one over here, I'm going to go to pitch, smart harmony. Let's stay in, let's do D major, and let's make this one, we're going to go down a third. There we go. Okay, so let's see what that sounds like. All right, that's pretty good. And now on this one, we're going to do another harmonizer. D major again. And we're going to go up a third. Now, for this one, I want to bring the mix down because the higher harmonies, I don't like them to be louder than what the melody I'm playing is. Let's do it like that. Maybe a little more. Okay, so that's it. So let's save that. Okay, so let's check it out. Let's start with our bridge and neck position. Pretty good. If we put some phase in. And let's check to see if that harmonizer works. Works fine. All right, so now let's try some other sounds. Here we have the neck and bridge out of phase. That works. And now we're going to go to the neck and middle position out of phase. Now, like I said before, the cool thing about this sound is the harmonic content pops out. I'm not playing pinch harmonics. That's the sound. Let's turn the phaser off. So that's it. I hope you enjoyed the video, and there'll be more to come. Thanks for watching.